All right. We are back and we are live, baby. Welcome back and happy Seer Saturday. Whoop, whoop. All right. Thank you so much for your beautiful patience. And of course, the more important, well, not more important, but like the very important time of day everybody's been looking forward to. Hope everybody's having a good weekend so far. You forgot you were still here, Momo? Wow. Um, But yeah, a real one. Thank you so much for staying for as long as you have. Um, but yeah. So since this this weekend, well, actually tomorrow, is the full moon. We recently just got transit into Leo. Um, since the full moon officially hits tomorrow, I figured today would be a nice prep time. It'll officially hit Leo, um, like hit the full moon at about 2 p.m. tomorrow. So if you're feeling it already right now, that's probably why, because we just transitioned into Leo itself just a few minutes ago. So yeah. Also to also this full moon is a pretty powerful one because not only is it the first full moon of the year, but also it's hitting a pretty major transit because I think it's doing either a sextile or a trine with Aquarius because we're majorly in Aquarius season right now, and there's like a 5 planet stellium going on in Aquarius. So it's a pretty major placement. And Leo and Aquarius are opposites of each other. So there's that going on. There's 2 stelliums occurring in Leo and Aquarius simultaneously. And then there's a third one going on. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head, but some pretty major placements are happening here. So again, I recommend the YouTuber Bailey Varnell if you want to see how it affects your chart. Personally, find your rising sign and then put it in there. I recommend the tropical system since that's what seems to be like most people tend to be aligned with anyway. But if you are curious, try the Vedic system as well, just to see which one vibes with you a lot more. But it feels like a lot more of these things tend to use, excuse me, a lot more of these things tend to use tropical system. And this bottle's pretty full. So, yeah, before we begin with this ritual proper, I've been feeling like I need to get something major out of the way. Not out of the way, but something major that I need to address. Because I have been remaining silent out of fear of my reputation, out of fear of being not out of fear of not being perfect, right, all whatever negative judgments would come at me out of fear of safety, etc. But at the year of the divine 2026, I feel like I can't continue this trend any further. I think it's time that I finally made clear where I stand. And, well, if I'm looked down because of it, so be it. But on the other hand, I feel like the people who need to hear it the most have to hear this for the sake of, again, being clear of where I stand, as well as those who need this love the most shall be able to have it. Because unfortunately, we're in a space where we're in a time where we need to be clear where we stand. Because silence is just as big as complicity. Thank you. Perfect timing. Got some hot chocolate up in here. And certainly be a nice balm before we begin. Anyway, here are the important things that you all need to know. I'm a child of immigrants. And while Her parents have come here through the proper process. For very valid reasons, there are people who haven't been able to come through the valid process. Some of them have been escaping violence. Others have been coming here for an important opportunity to help their families and their friends. Regardless, what has been happening by our government is unacceptable. They should not be treated inhumanely just because of how they've come in here. And considering the history of this country, they should not be treated illegally because no one is illegal on stolen land. I have said as much in every video that I do land acknowledgements. And in my home state, we are home to two major indigenous groups, the Nanticoke and the Lenape. Nanticoke occupies the south of the state. Lenape Hoking, the Lenape territory, goes from where I live all the way up to New York State. So pretty big. And love is love. And no frith with folkists or fascists. If you stand on division and hate, you stand alone. But if you are willing to grow beyond your fear, to grow beyond misunderstanding, to have a chance to learn from me, to learn from us, to learn from each other, my door's always open. Whether you are poor, you are rich, or somewhere in between, my table is always open. And so, with that housekeeping out of the way, shall we begin? Hello, everybody. But yeah, I really needed to make that clear because I didn't want to seem like as if I was just tolerating it or just accepting it, because I'm not. I've had to do a lot of stuff basically behind the scenes within silence, and this year it's all I decided to make my word selfhood. And the biggest thing that I want to be is a woman of action and somebody who speaks up and speaks out for what's right. And so this is my start. Obviously, there's more that I need and I want to say. And you can find out more on my Substack, thirdnerd.substack.com. There's an article that I'm working on for this entire month. I haven't had a chance to post it yet, but I'm thinking afterwards, after the stream, I'm going to work on it and then post it. And you'll see it on my Blue Sky and my Discord as well. So, yeah. I'm a huge sci-fi and spec fic fan as well. And especially Star Trek, where they talk about like building up utopias and things that will benefit us. I know we tend to think about Omelas when it comes to utopias, but it doesn't have to be Omelas. It could be like Star Trek, where we actually take the time and solve each of the things that we struggle with enough understanding and skillful means and mutual dialogue and respect. I think even in the thick of all this discord, I think it's still possible that we can make a world that is supportive for everyone. Exactly hallucinating reality. Something about silence encourages tormentor, never tormented. That is very true. Very, 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 very true. And so I hope for those who are too scared to speak up, I hope at least it gives you some amplification, maybe a bit of courage to speak up as well. And for those who may be in too much danger to speak up, I hope at least it gives you a bit of hope that you're not alone. And if you need a bit more of like a spiritual turn in terms of this stuff, I highly recommend witchy YouTuber Kellyanne Maddox. She's been recently posting a lot of encouraging posts for those trying to, with those who've been wanting to speak up more, and also help more in their communities, but are just too scared to do so, or are still figuring out where they stand or how to actually navigate this world. Her videos have been like a very soothing balm recently, because I feel like as if I haven't been active enough in my community up until when I started doing this every week. And so I hope, especially with the pools that I tend to do, I hope they give you some resilience to get through another day, another week, another month, another year. Because if I'm able to help you do that, I think I've done my job. Of course, I mean, to quote from Midnight Diner, if I got every single thing perfectly, eventually people forget about their free wills and they stop listening to practical advice. So, if I happen to be wrong on some of my reads, it's okay. If anything, I feel like it's a call for you to listen to your intuition a lot more. Because you don't need to hand off your authority to anyone but yourself. You are your own authority. You're your own guru. You're your own sensei. I'm just here to remind you that. Mm-hmm. I'm hydrating with the cocoa and the water. And yeah. And I have to have room in order to be able to like navigate stuff like this. I mean, I have to have room for some opinions like what Little Late has demonstrated. That is that for some things it does come down to that. I still hope for the ideal scenario that at least we could still work towards a better world. Yeah, downplaying especially. Downplaying never works. And I also read a lot of history as well. And I often get frustrated because, well, you would think after all this knowledge we have at our fingertips that we would actually be able to kind of speed run all the BS we tend to go through, but no, we still take forever on some things. It's difficult. Okay, I'm feeling I'm going to start with this one. Shout out to Anna XR Forever from a YouTube channel. She sent me this Turtle Spirit incense because I think we need a little bit of grounding, and I think it's a perfect tribute to where, at least here in the US, where we are now, because this place is known among the indigenous peoples as Turtle Island, so I feel like it's in honor of that. I'm going to light this orange candle here. That may we be ignited in our courage and our need for community. That smells really good. Definitely was a good call. And I'll light the second one here. And there's our orange candle. So go ahead and take a big of a deep breath. We're here. We're safe. And we are open to the wisdom that is coming towards us today. Okay. So with that, go ahead and meditate on what it is you would like to release during this period, as well as what would you like to know. Because I have a feeling that we're going to need some great depth today. Mm-hmm. But yeah, this full moon is really hitting a lot of major placements this time because, well, it's in Leo. I'm a Leo sun. I also have a Leo Chiron as well. So it's like everything's getting hit. And, well, Story Momo, my mod Hyun Yo got me a reading, got me a birth chart reading earlier today by Story Momo. Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, Story Momo does birth chart readings, so if you want one, definitely don't be afraid to ask him. They're pretty affordable too. But yeah, I'm excited to see what you say about my chart, because I know you had a hard time with my mods chart, and apparently this one was yet another interesting one. Listen, I'm not the greatest either. I'm not the greatest businesswoman either. Let me tell you. I mean, I know some people do like tarot for tips, and I'm like, how about no? Let me stop commodifying like spiritual tools that everybody needs. You know what I mean? Oh man. But yeah, I'm excited to hear what you have to say, because I mean, like, everything, like, at least like the bits that you told me during your live stream earlier today, it's very, 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 very much in line with what I've been told and what I've experienced literally over the past year. Like, that was really, what you told me was really spot on. Bro, don't discount your abilities. I mean, I feel like if anything, it's the amateurs that really know how to get stuff down, I think. Because we think it's about like, oh, you're just a novice, or you're not the greatest of the thing. No, amateur comes from a French word meaning for the love of. So you're actually super passionate about the thing, because people can be pros at something without necessarily being passionate about it. Case in point, Andre Agassi. He was like, I mean, he basically became a professional tennis player, but it was such extreme training that the passion part was kind of questionable after a while. So, like, when he retired, that was probably the first time he actually felt some joy out of the sport. I mean, even some professionals, like doctors or lawyers, they do or engineers, especially from like immigrant households sometimes. You'll find that like a lot of them are doing it more so because the situation is more secure rather than out of actual passion, so to speak. Meanwhile, I'm like, how about no? I mean, granted, it's much riskier, but honestly, this is more fun. Not surprising at all. I mean, like I said earlier, am I a Leo? Am I an Aquarius? Am I Virgo? Am I Sagittarius? Yes. Yeah, I'm super excited to hear what you have to say. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started with the reading, shall we? So, Lily, you are first, my friend. And if the Mr. Weird happens to pop on, you are on the list until the end of the day. But yeah, go ahead, ask away. What is your question, my darling? I just realized I forgot to put a live status on my Blue Sky, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. So, go ahead and draft your question. I'm gonna go ahead and update my live status on Blue Sky. Blue Sky. Honestly, I like it a lot, actually. Of course, it's from the Nigerian playlist, of course. I like this one. The time zones. I like it. What your crush feels about our no contact situation. It's been a long time since we've last met or talked. I'm not the greatest at predicting somebody else's emotion per se, but I could check in on the vibe of what's going on. So let me go ahead and do that. And my notebook is back here, there. Yep. Right. I might try Astro Dice at one point, because I've always been curious about that. No problem. Alright, here we go. I think a 3 card. already half an hour in. Doesn't feel like it. Here we are. Okay. Thank you. Alright, so we got 4 cards here. Let's see what's going on and what I can suggest. I double check Twitch just to make sure no ad pops up mid mid reading. I don't want to lose my flow. Okay, we are in an ad break right now. So yep. So we'll get through these 2 minutes. Oh, okay. You're back already. Okay, sweet. All right. So it said 2 minutes on there, but I guess this must have been pretty short. Anyways, let's go ahead and get this stuff. These cards pulled here. We're a little late. Here we go. So first off, we got the 2 of Cups. So Cups relate to emotions, and usually the 2s are about harmony and connection and partnership. So that was the thing that you were asking about earlier. And clearly this is a call for you to explore where you and your crush are standing. Have you had a chance to confess your feelings to said crush? Out of curiosity? Well, if you haven't, maybe it might be good for him to make it obvious. But let's see what the rest of these cards say. So we got the 10 of Pentacles. So, 10 of Pentacles. The 10s usually in the suits, like, they tend to talk about completion. And Pentacles is about material. At least to me, it feels like it's more material and the 3D situation. And appreciating the good things in life. And usually the result after a long spurt of effort or a long duration of work. And yeah, I'm feeling like there might be some work of some sort that either you or your crush have been focused on during this time. So maybe things might not have shifted forward because there has been this bigger focus on making sure things are on a nice financial foundation, so to speak. And there might be a little bit of fear that things may fall apart. Retrograde. That's a good point. I didn't check when the retrograde that's coming soon. You're right. You are right. Let me double check that, like when the retrograde's happening. Mercury retrograde 2026 dates. Because I have the Kazimis here too. If anybody's curious, I can send that to you. So the retrograde for this year is not happening until February 26th. So it's later in the month when it's happening. Oh, but the pre-retrograde shadow is happening on February 11th, according to Chani. So that makes a lot of sense. You were right, Dan the boy. You were right. I'm gonna paste that there in case you're curious about where I'm getting receipts from. And it is very Pisces heavy. Very water sign heavy this year for all the retrogrades. Because it's happening in Pisces first, then Cancer, and then Scorpio. I don't remember it being stuck on one element for that long, which is interesting. But yeah, long story short, the other thing that could be happening is maybe the Mercury retrograde as well. But let me see what these other two cards are, and maybe that should give me more of an answer here as to what's going on. So we got the Nine of Wands. So the wands are about passion, and Nine of Wands I often associate with like one last push towards victory, just like one last little bit of effort, or that one last little push and keeping strength towards the thing that you have been seeking or wanting. So I'm feeling that if you still have feelings for your crush, I think you need to prepare to make them more known and make it more obvious. Yeah. Pretty emotionally taxing year, but also apparently a very enlightening one simultaneously. Because there's a bunch of Kazimis happening this year. So if anybody's not clued into what Kazemi is, it's basically like when a planet or celestial body tends to be at a peak where you can get enlightenment about certain situations, or a chance for you to get some downloads on some truths that you're overdue to know. So I'll paste that in case you guys want to find out about that information. So yeah, there's a lot going on here. But long story short, getting back to the Nine of Wands, I'm feeling that if you want things to go forward with your crush, I think you may need to take some time and, number one, get to know your crush more thoroughly as a person. And number two, if those feelings have not changed, you should say them so that way you can get clear about where you two stand. Because you're not going to make much progress if your foot's on the brake, if you catch my drift. And I know how scary it can be. Final card here. The High Priestess. I feel like I've picked up like almost every single one of these cards at least once before on the stream, so I definitely need to take some time and actually, maybe I might need to thoroughly clean this deck, I don't know. But anyway, the High Priestess is about, at least with the way like they illustrate with this card, is the bridge between worlds, between this world and the spirit world. tapping into your intuition, tapping into your wisdom and your deeper sense of knowledge. And I'm feeling that's a call for you to do as well, Late, is I think you need to start tapping into the intuition of the situation as to be honest with yourself and of the situation at hand as to why things might not have moved forward. I used to think that at first too. Wait. I used to think that too at first. Like when I was pulling cards, I thought my intuition's only good for one thing, and then it's like dead everywhere else. Actually, the fact that I'm still able to pull cards pretty well for other people, if anything, that's been proof that it's still alive. It's just dormant when it feels unsafe to express something, especially something that you need to know but you're not ready for. So do yourself a favor. This is what I can recommend, at least. Practice figuring out what it is that helps you feel safe within yourself. And especially doing the three big things that we tend to lose when we're in a chaotic world like this, which is trust, humility, and surrender. We tend to lose, especially when we get to be in the so-called adult phase in our lives. We forget that we can trust that we can be provided for. We forget to be humble among the mysteries of the universe, that things are much bigger than what our tiny minds can comprehend. And more importantly, we forget to remember that we can surrender some things to others, to divine providence, to the muse, to process until we're ready to get back what it is we need to know. And it doesn't help, especially that nowadays we're trying to be inundated with a lot of noise. When our intuition, it's not dead. It's just very subtle and very quiet. Until it has to pull out the alarm bells. So, a little late, your intuition's not dead. I think what may be happening is it's switching its language. And you just need to take your time and figure out what that language is. For me, it happened to be through cartomancy that it spoke the best to me, that I tended to understand it the best. But for you, it could be something else. It could be a playlist or seeing a certain bird. Take the time to find out what your intuition's language is. So that's my recommendation of what I'm feeling here for the situation with your crush. I think what you need to do right now is bring back excuse me, is remember what drew you to this person in the first place. And if you have the courage to make those feelings known for sure, be it to that person, but especially yourself. I think it's important to do that to make sure you have clarity as to where you stand. And then I'm thinking in the meantime, this is the time now in this in-between void for you to take the time to get to know what your intuition sounds like. And also set yourself up for a better foundation, a better practical foundation, a better financial foundation. That's what I'm seeing. But let's see, what do moths even mean? So, mods, according to Google here, can mean transformation, rebirth, hidden knowledge, and intuition. In many cultures, including Native American and Filipino traditions, they also stand for spirits of deceased loved ones or messengers from the afterlife. Their attraction to light signifies a sometimes dangerous pursuit of wisdom and truth, or acting as a guide through dark times. They also can mean intuition and mystery, and vulnerability and trust. Moth science can also mean trust the process, look for the light, and connection to the ancestors. So, actually not that bad at all. So, if anything, I feel like it's a call more for how you can tap more into your intuition, which could possibly involve some ancestor work. And hello, Shiva Lim. I will get to you. Are the third person on my list for tonight. We have just started, so thank you for tuning in. But yeah, a little late. I hope that answered your question. I know it's probably not what you wanted to hear, but I'm hoping that at least it gives you a hint as to where you could possibly go next in terms of how you can navigate the situation with your crush at bare minimum. Yeah, anytime. Yeah, of course. I try my best not to sugarcoat or make it blindingly optimistic, but I do trend to make sure I do trend towards making sure that you at least have options that you can work with. That you have the power to do whatever it is that you want to do as long as it harms no one, including yourself. And that's anything, not just love, but also in work, in art, in feeling at home somewhere. I think especially when it comes to love, the biggest thing is mutual respect towards two or more different souls. Because I'm not going to judge. There are some people who can manage the poly life. I'm not one of them, but gotta respect those who can. And I think especially for those who are hoping for the potential of being in a partnership with somebody, I think the better questions to ask are, what would make you ready to take the next step with that special someone? What is it that you can do to bridge the gap? Because it does take two. And sometimes you can't wait for the other person to come to you. Sometimes you have to make it easier to come to you by meeting in the middle. A bare minimum. Do a little bit of something and then the universe will help you meet in the middle with it. Of course, respectfully, of course. Please, respect consent, people. But with that, we will go ahead and move on to our next person, which is Hallucinating Reality. You are next, my friend. And then Shiva Lim, you are third. Okay, advices / motivations from your higher self for either your inner child or yourself in general. Whatever comes through. So I'm going to see my own strengths, like a vacillation between different ends of emotional spectrums and your confidence feeling stable at best. Oof! God, I've been there. I have been there, let me tell you. Yeah, that vacillation of self-confidence, it sucks, man. So, thankfully, I do have a spread for that. I have 2 spreads for that, but I think this one would work really well. And I probably need to use it on myself at some point this year. But what are you? The self-love spread. It's a 6-card spread here. I think you'll like it. Because I think it sounds like you could use a little bit of a self-affirmation today. And I think it certainly will answer your question about how you can navigate this vacillation. Because I think, in my opinion, we are basically little kids in big bodies. I know we tend to be like, oh, like, no, we're not. We're responsible. We got all these deadlines, etc. We're doing all those things. No. There are some things about childhood that we still have every right to enjoy. We can enjoy amusement parks. We can enjoy the figurines. We can enjoy the shows that we used to watch a lot more frequently when we were younger. It's okay. And to the people who try to rob us of that, forget them. It's one thing to naturally grow out of it. That's one thing. But to be forcibly removed from the things that we love and enjoy, unless it's some extreme situation, I got a problem with that. I really do. So, it's just this, I don't know if you watch this comedian, Nikki Marina, but she talks about how how sometimes the advice given to millennials and the advice given to people who have just been diagnosed with PTSD. So let me disclaim it with, I'm not a medical professional, so please don't take any medical advice from me. But she talks about how, like, those with CPTSD and millennials, like, their Venn diagram is a circle. And then somebody had a pretty good comment underneath that kind of said, well, it's because millennials have basically been gaslit from their adolescence up until now. Because the things that we should have gotten growing up didn't happen. Like, taking out this loan, you'll pay it back with a job. If it were, if the economy were basically the same way as how, like, Gen X and even the boomers had it, that certainly would have been the case. It's not that anymore. have this interest that you really enjoy, well, too bad, you're too old for it, so put it down. And then years later, they take advantage of our nostalgia by reviving all these properties, like turning our favorite shows into IP factories and milking it of what actually made it awesome for us in the first place. I mean, the fact that we even find out that like most of the shows only existed because they wanted to sell toys. That alone could be heartbreaking to some people. Oh man, wow. I mean, that was kind of a coincidence that I just remembered. But yeah, I had to really think about it. I was like, yeah, we really were mistreated when it came to a lot of stuff that we actually enjoyed and liked, and even certain personality traits. So yeah, I just found that really interesting to think about. It was her most recent video, so if you're kind of curious, feel free to look this person up, Nikki Marina. She has a lot of she became viral on TikTok for her commentaries on the MCU and her past experiences in the military. Yeah, got a lot of good videos. Now, other one that I recommended highly is Bailey Varnell. She has a lot of really good astrology videos. But yeah, take a look at those. Anyways, let's go ahead and give some affirmations to hallucinating reality. Because, oh, sweet, awesome. Yeah, I love her stuff. Like, I just feel like I come away with such new information every time I watch her stuff. Like, she's another person I wouldn't mind getting a reading from, actually, too. In addition to Momo. Because, like, the way she just from, like, the general videos alone, she tells so much. Like, oh my god. I felt red for filth, and she didn't even read my chart. Anyway. Island Turtle. Okay, I will check out Island Turtle. Thank you for the recommendation as well. Without further ado, let's jump into Hallucinating Realities reading here, shall we? So, the first card is literally about, why are you amazing? I just gotta remember that. You got the Two of Wands, my friend. I just realized saying my friend, it's like, it makes me think of my, oh my goodness, it makes me think of my mentor. God, Saima, I miss you. You happen to be watching this from Peru. Hello. I doubt it, but it ended up being right. You are right. I'm doing what you said. It's like, I'm saying my friend the way she says beloved, and she means it. I mean, anyway, why are you amazing? Two of Wands. Two of Wands. I think your biggest power, hallucinating reality, is very much about how you look upon how you use your power and influence, and your creativity. You don't get sucked into hubris. You know how to handle your power skillfully. You know how to. You know when to use it and when to practice restraint. That's what I'm getting from this. Also, I don't know if you're into cats, but I mean, at least like my mod and like one of my best friends is like basically all my best friends are into cats. But there's a bunch of cats in here. They're kind of cute. Hope you like it. I don't know why I like pointing that out, but I kind of do, but still. But yeah, that's the biggest thing I'm seeing here is like, you know how to use your power respectfully. That's the impression I have, at least. I don't know. Kidding anyway. Anyway, next one is past accomplishment or accomplishments. Let's see what we got here. So we got the Knight of Pentacles. Whoop. So Knight of Pentacles, I'm feeling like you've made some pretty oh god. I hope you at least had fun, Momo, because I know how hard mine. This is just me just doing it on my own with the asteroids on top of that, keep in mind. Like, that was already hard. Anyway, getting back to hallucinating reality. Knight of Pentacles. Past accomplishments. I'm feeling like you've taken some huge risks towards goals that you've been looking at for a very, very, very long time. And it might not look like it, but you've been making steady progress towards those goals. If not progress, certainly fulfillment. That's what I'm feeling with this. And when you do reach that goal, it's a very sure thing that you're going to get there. The biggest thing you need to reestablish is is that faith in your power that I mentioned in the first card. Then next, we got, what do I bring to others? We got the Fool. So the Fool is like the very first card in the deck, and it usually talks about like new journeys and new beginnings, adventure, passion. Sometimes there's a bit of naivete or it's a bit rash, leaping before looking, but also simultaneously there's an infinite amount of possibilities. And I'm getting two things from this. I'm feeling like you encourage the people to look on the brighter side of life and take those second chances, and reminding them that it's not the end of what they want to pursue. And there's something even I'm working on a lot of the time is now you need to start applying that same second chance energy towards yourself. And it's interesting that the next half is now going to be focusing more on yourself, about what are your skills, gifts, and talents for your fourth card. Fifth card is, why do you feel down about yourself right now? And the sixth card is, how do you need to show and practice love, be it towards yourself or other people? Yeah, especially like when it feels like everyone's after you or doesn't get you. It can feel hard to see that second chance energy. But it is there. It is absolutely there. So, skills, gifts, and talents. We got the Three of Cups. So, I know, even though you just said that like it's like it feels like things are coming after you, but one of the skills that I'm seeing that you have, that it may be good to cultivate if you didn't know this, is cultivating the collaborative energy. Not being afraid to being able to not be afraid of your gift of bringing people together, especially in terms of a common cause. Because the Three of Cups usually is about fellowship and friendship and reliance on others and team spirit. And especially when it comes to celebration and partying. Which, yeah, it's a very Libra thing. That's very true. But yeah, like you have that's one of your superpowers, is being able to bring people together towards a common cause. And so this is a gift that's worth cultivating, especially now when it feels like division is the name of the game. We don't need more splitting up. We need more coming together. Of course, within reason. Number 5. Why do you feel down on yourself? What's been going on, hallucinating reality? And you got the 5 of Cups. There's been a bit of heartbreak that's been pulling you down. Usually with 5 of Cups, it's kind of a regret of what could have been, in contrast for what it is. A sense of loss, a sense of disconnection, a sense of isolation, where you almost feel isolated in your own bubble. Like, even if somebody did reach out, you probably wouldn't have been able to hear the call, because that's how stressful this situation has become. Because it's this big circle. Yeah, that's pretty apt, actually, what's going on here. And I know, like, it is what it is. There's 2 ways that phrase can be used sometimes, and both of them can be, I mean, whether you use it can be helpful or harmful. And most of the time it tends to be, I feel like the phrase tends to be used much more, there's a tendency to use it much more dismissively, of like, it is what it is, can't do anything about it, Shogunai, we're just gonna move on. And then it's just like, it's not acknowledging the frustration of like, I really have to acknowledge that, like, it's like, I know I need to move on, but I also need to acknowledge that, like, this situation sucks, you know? That this kind of hurts. And I think a lot of people can relate to this feeling of, like, delays and doing everything correctly only to lose. Because I was about to ask, are you going through your Saturn return right now? Or has it been like a few years since it, and like you're doing your integration? Because for me, it's been a couple years. Like, well, this March will make it a couple years since my Saturn return ended. And I'm still integrating quite a lot of it. And full moons are actually a pretty good time to integrate Saturn return energy, if anything. But yeah, I understand that feeling of, like, you finally get the energy to get up and do something only for something else to just interrupt it. I know how frustrating that feels, because that was a good chunk of my late 20s, early 30s. That I feel like, it's like, I finally got up, and it's like, wrong place, wrong time. Like, even this, like, like, affiliate happening, I was happy that I'm still happy that it happened, and yet the timing could not have been worse in some respects, because I'm in a space where right now I'm in kind of a transition of, like, trying to figure out what next to do with my day job, because I haven't had one. Like, June will make it a year since I've had a day job, and it's kind of scary. how precarious everything is, but simultaneously, maybe it is naive of me. Maybe it's ignorant. And yet partially, I kind of feel like right now is where I need to be. Like I really wouldn't change much. Because then I wouldn't have the knowledge and the self-trust that I have now. So, even with the crappiest situations, even with the worst timing, there's at least one part. There's probably one thing that you probably wouldn't trade for anything. That's understandable. That really is understandable. Attachments to outcome. Yeah. And that hits one of the big three. Like we were talking about earlier, with a little late, where we talk about humility, trust. Faith also falls under trust. Doesn't even have to be religious faith either. And surrender. Surrender doesn't mean giving up. Surrender also means giving necessary space to a situation so you can make the moves towards things that you want to do without producing any further harm. That's the aim of surrender. Because you can only fight so much. For eventually, it's doing more harm than good. So, how you need to show and practice love. We got the Ace of Pentacles. And yeah, fighting is exhausting. It's not supposed to be something you do forever. You're supposed to be done. And then you start moving towards mending, healing, honoring the boundaries that might have caused the fight in the first place. So, a way that you could show and practice love towards yourself. Ace of Pentacles. I'm feeling it's called for you to actually slow down and appreciate how far you've come and enjoy some of the fruits of your labor. Like, if you've been working your butt off to get up to a certain point, to get to a certain situation, you should take the time to actually enjoy the fruits of your labor. And pay attention to, again, pretty similar to late, pay attention to the places where you feel safe. And I think that's the other part. I mean, even I'm learning this. Like, you're not alone in these lessons, everybody. Like, there are some things, even with me pulling these cards, that I too am still learning. And what I've been learning recently is learning about trust, humility, and surrender in my own life. Knowing when I could put the pen down, when I could put the sword down, and just be here. Because we all need a moment where we can just breathe and be here. It doesn't even have to be that long. It can be a minute, 5 minutes, 10. However long it takes for you to remember that you're being on this planet, not just someone who does. Like, I want to be a woman of action. I want to be able to do more things in my life. But I don't want doing to be the only thing that's in my life. I also want to be here. Be here as a being. Be here as a human. And so, the fruits of your labor, it doesn't have to be like the stereotypical fruits of your labor of like, I got this much money, time to splurge. No. There are many more ways of wealth in this universe besides money. Well, not besides, but like in addition to money. Because I gotta honor the physical world here too. There's abundance of knowledge, abundance of connection, abundance of nature, abundance of energy. Might not look like it with the way things are right now, but abundance of time. That one's especially sneaky. And so, the overarching message I'm getting here, Hallucinating Reality, is don't box in your love on conditions. It's important to have stipulations in terms of what makes expression feel safe to you. But ultimately, love itself is unconditional. I'm going to take through my journal real quick, see if I can find. There's one sentence that I kind of wrote down that really stood out to me in terms of this point. So, in particular, if you found this January, like this month, to be rather tiring, or you're just not a fan of like the way people tend to push like New Year's resolutions, do this thing now, or even just like make a head start like back in the fall or something in order to, by the time you get to January, it's nothing. And by the way, I literally tried that and I've been off my feet for a week. I'm not injured. It's just that I haven't been able to keep consistent over the past week. But anyway, I'm finding, at least for myself, maybe for you all, and especially for those on the southern hemisphere of the planet, might feel otherwise. But January, it's not a push month. I'm sorry, but it isn't. I never felt that. I felt like January is a seeding period, a rest and seeding period. And then February is when you actually start the push. Because, I mean, this weather, especially that we've been experiencing over here on the East Coast, it's been making me slow down. And yes. Exactly. So, another recommendation I'll give about hallucinating reality and anybody watching this video is taking the time, be it prayer, be it meditation, be it journaling, whatever floats your boat, taking the time to get back in touch with what it is that you have faith in is very important, because then it'll help you rebuild that sense of self-trust as well as curiosity. And it also makes sure that you're not confining how help looks like to you. Because it feels like it sometimes feels as if like help can only come in one way, when there's multiple ways that help can come in. Of course, use your discernment in terms of whether or not it would be helpful to you at this time, but be open to how help comes up. And also, you don't have to do gigantic things in order to be successful or be supportive of something. Learning is enough. Support is enough. Speaking up is especially important, because being able to vocalize what it is that you need is very important. Oh, thank you. Sorry, my my screen's a little minimized. There we go. Sleepy Incubus 21. Thanks for the endorsement. Depends on the time-based thing. If it's asking for a deadline, I can only go by what I've witnessed personally, not so much what I pull. But if you're talking about like what could happen in a certain period of time, that's one thing I could explore to answer your question. So, answer, it depends. If you ask your question, I could tell you whether or not I'll be able to answer it or not. Yeah, the right people certainly make a difference. And okay. That one I'm not sure how I'll be able to answer that one, but at least bare minimum I could probably see what the energy is and maybe some way you can increase the odds of communication. I could possibly do that. I see hallucinating reality. Gotcha. Okay. That makes sense. Okay. I don't remember if this is the right one, but I watched this video recently by Ali Abdaal. I know he's been kind of coming into fire recently, but like this video really made me think about the side effects of overthinking. And in particular, how the education system tends to condition us towards a defensive mindset over what a lot of children would have, or like more open-minded people would have, called the discovery mindset, where Carol Dweck would probably call it fixed versus flexible, or fixed versus unfixed. But anyway, there's a tendency to feel like as if you only have one shot, when once you get out of school, once you get out of school especially, it's not really the case anymore. You tend to have multiple chances. But even in school itself, you tend to actually have multiple chances, especially when you get to higher education. And there's actually, even with factors you put in like privilege and resource access, you have multiple shots. You have infinite shots to get it right. You literally only need one time for it to go right. Like one shot for it to go right. Like I discovered that myself with this channel, actually, when I started doing these polls. is I just took a leap of faith. Like, I literally felt like if I had nothing to lose, I just gave it a shot, and then boom. What took me 8 years, what I thought would take me like maybe like another 8 to 10 years to do, I did it in one stream. That was mind blowing. Let me tell you, like, there's still, like, I'm still kind of processing, even though it's been 3 months since that fateful day in October. I'm still processing the fact that that happened, and I'm able to talk with you guys now. Because, I mean, before, it would be dead. Like, this would be dead, essentially. With the exception of maybe, like, 1 or 2 of my friends that I know in real life. The fact that you guys are here, it's just something that I can only dream of. So, long story short, hallucinating reality. I feel like you have this shot, you have the chance to really expand how you see your life. And I feel like the big thing that I'm getting from this is you have a lot of strengths, and it's time that you embraced them. And yeah, doesn't even have to be a standardized system either. And we're out of control of a lot of things, but you can focus on the things that you can do in this moment, even if it's small. You can still dream. You can still love your neighbor. You can still learn something new every day. There's so much you can do. So I got 4 cards here as well. That should cover, like, a bit more. We'll see what else we can tell you. I'm going to take a little bit of an ad break to, like, save my voice for 1 second, and then we will come back to this. So stay tuned, everybody. So here's something like a drink of water or something. Okay, we are back. Thank you so much for tuning in. But yes, absolutely, you should celebrate that 1 year sober. Get yourself a good meal. Get yourself your favorite hot or cold beverage, be it tea, coffee, juice. I love fresh juices, by the way. Bubble tea. Bubble tea is a fun way to celebrate. Black tea every morning. Let's go. I'm an Earl Grey lady. I'm a Trekkie. What can I say? But anyway, these 4 cards here. My friend. Embrace these traits, okay? Here we go. So, first one I got for you, in terms of these 4 cards, this extra cards here for your spread. We got Judgment! We got Judgment! So, another big skill that I think you should honor is the fact that you really know how to face tough choices. And you're willing to face the difficult things that most people would shudder at trying to face. you're a very brave soul. Ooh, Darjeeling's delicious, by the way. I also like Halsey Rose tea. Yeah, Pluto placements are nothing to mess with, okay? The fact that you're brave enough to face those things, that's big. That's huge. Next, we got another 3 here. We got the 3 of Pentacles. And again, it's about teamwork. And once again, I feel like a call for you is, I think for you to remember that even though, yeah, you've been having frustrations with other people right now, you really are a team player when you come across the right people. So have faith in that. And also, by the way, Sleepy Incubus, if you want a reading, add yourself to the queue and I'll get to you. You are person number 4 if you are jumping in. Well, like, I mean, well, you're basically second on the list right now. But yeah, basically you'll be like 2 people away. But anyway, yeah, big thing that I'm seeing right here is like you are a great team player. So take that skill to your advantage. And then we have the Page of Cups. You have a sentimental side. You have an emotional side. Don't be afraid to play with that side a little bit. Embrace it. Because we need more of that playful side in our lives. And listening to your heart. I mean, we often bash people who have hearts in their sleeves, but I think the problem is we shoved our hearts so far down that we're being too cruel. If anything, we need to open up more. And finally, and I think this totally showed just from you talking about Elie Wiesel earlier. The sun. You know a lot. And you know what you want. And whatever it is that you desire, you absolutely can achieve it. I mean, you have that go-getter spirit with the Knight of Pentacles. So I say don't give up. Okay? You've got a lot going for you. Yeah, absolutely. And epistemology. I'm going to have to remind myself what that means. Hold on. Yes, even this lady who has a master's degree can sometimes forget what words mean. The theory of knowledge, especially with regard to its methods, validity, and scope. Origin from Greek. Epistothe. From know or know how to do. Yeah, pretty accurate. Life is a dance of epistemology. Exactly. How we know what we know. That's important to know, especially now. I don't know how I know what I know, but I guess I know what I don't know. Exactly. And that goes up, especially as you go through like higher education, like your master's or a PhD. Like you just become like, the higher you go, the more aware you are of how much you know what you don't know. Ooh, founder badge. Ooh, let me see. Let me see. Oh! I didn't even know it's even a thing! Oh my god, Starry Momo! That's incredible! Dude! You are so awesome! Thank you! Yeah. But yeah, I know. Like, the hyper awareness of, like, knowing what you don't know can get overwhelming. And I just realized the Lady Sia title hung on for dear life, even though I updated it on Restream, so I'm gonna go ahead and update that. Huge apologies on that. But the biggest thing that I can tell you comes from the Boondocks. You know, the TV show The Boondocks? When Huey Freeman, when he goes through a hunger strike that eventually fails because the person who joined in the strike basically decides to just cave in for the easy buck. Huey's like, what do you do when you don't, like, you don't know what to do, essentially? Like, you know what's supposed to be, but, like, things just aren't going where they're supposed to go. And his grandpa responds with, you do what you can. You do what you can. So that's my advice to you, hallucinating reality. I think the biggest thing that you could do for yourself at this time to bring some love to that inner child is remembering what brought you to life in the first place, and more importantly, for right now, be here and do what you can. So that's what I got for you. And now I feel like watching more of the Boondocks. Like, I got in, like, I read the comics back in the day, but I didn't get into the show until when I was much older. Like, basically the last, like, 3 or 4 years, I've been, like, marathoning them on YouTube. And there was word that, like, they were gonna bring it back because, like, John Witherspoon's son can do a pretty good grandpa impression from what I've heard. But then I think, like, the way they handled, like, the way they were going to handle the series, Aaron McGruder didn't approve of it, so ended up not happening. And I know there's like some things that probably should stay in that time period, but on the other hand, though, God, the show would work so well today. Let's be for real. With some good writing. But yeah, that's what I got for you, hallucinating reality. I hope that helped. I know I was kind of all over the place for a little bit, but I hope that helps you. But yeah, you got a lot going for you. Anytime. Anytime. Okay, so our next person is on the YouTube side of the globe. Shiva Lim, who asked for an Akashic reading. I'm gonna have to say, I don't presume the feelings of the other person, but I can check in the vibes as well as ways that you can improve your chances. So, things to think about. So, I'm gonna light my other bit of incense right now, give a little bit of a breather. This is one of my favorite Japanese incenses. It's just like, it's one that I've used since I was a child. It's from this company called Shoyedo, and the scent is called Daigenko, Great Origin. And it's a little different from like the jute stick incense because they actually mold it into these sticks. Like the whole thing is lightable, not just the powder part. Like the whole thing's powder. And I find if you're more sensitive to incense smoke, this one's like low point enough that it doesn't get overwhelming. So if you're more intimidated by like incense smoke, like look at that. Like compared to that other like my turtle incense, this smoke's a lot gentler. Like if you've ever seen like those coil incense burners, like from those like the citronella coil incense burners that you often see in anime and stuff. It's kind of the same concept, but in stick form. It's pretty nice. It's like really nice and woody. Oh, that smells really nice. Like it's light, but it's nice. And I guess you're wondering, yeah, it's a Sailor Moon mug. I know it's mirrored, but it says, if it involves fighting evil by moonlight, winning love by daylight, and never running from a real fight, count me in. Dogs have their problems, but catchy slogans are not one of them. I mean, one of the most badass lines came from a dub, and it's not even in the actual anime. Dragon Ball Z, I love this line that Goku says, "Ally to good, nightmare to you." Like, put that on a t-shirt. I can't tell it. I feel that so hard. Oh man. I even thought of getting like those paint mug ones from from the Look Human site. It's actually where I got this one. Actually, it's from Look Human. But yeah, there's like two mugs that you can get. One with like a green interior and with a red interior. One's like paint water, do not drink, and the other one says like beverage, please drink this. So for all my fellow artists out there who prefer to get something more eco-friendly like a mug, you might want to look into that. Because you know that unfortunate thing where the paint water looks like an actual drink. Oh god, especially if you're painting with a lot of brown. And it looks like hot chocolate. Okay. I mean, thankfully, it hasn't happened to me, but it's happened to one of my classmates. One too many times. I think it's because like I always put it in like I always put a beverage in a mug like this, like in a cup like this, or it's in one of those paper cups that have lids. So I was able to tell easily which one was my drinking cup, and also the other thing was that, like, well, the mug's super full, whereas, like, the the beverage cup is always, like, empty as sin. Number one trick I always remembered: never put them next to each other. Never put the cups next to each other. Or the even safer bet, usually, especially if you're used to working in labs, get your drink done before you get in there, because they won't permit it. Oh man. Anyway, let me go ahead and pull for Shiva Lim. I'm gonna do a 3-card. I'm gonna do Desire, Obstacle, and Solution, a 3-carder. Yeah! Basically, yeah. Okay, there we go. Alright, Shiva Lim, for my YouTube friend, let us go for it. Alright, so for Desire, I pulled 2 cards for you for this one. So, first off, for Desire, we've got the Lovers and the 4 of Cups. Now, here's one misconception I should get out of the way. The Lovers is not necessarily limited to romantic love, even though it most commonly is read in that lens. It also means about forming a connection, union, balance, energy, the flow between people, and determining what values are the basis of said connection, of said cycle, and acknowledging the complexity of it all. But simultaneously, there's the 4 of Cups, which there's a bit of warning of navel gazing / grass is always greener, which I know, like, love can be very self-involved, but it's not selfish in nature. And I think it's one thing that you gotta watch out for when it comes to, excuse me, any romance reading, which is a reminder of making sure that you don't get too lost in your idea of the person and seeing the person as they truly are, and being partnered with the person not only at their best, but also at their worst. Can you be with all aspects of that person, not just the moment you fell in love with them? So don't lose sight of the world. That's what I'm seeing with that one. Then next, in terms of your obstacle to the romantic love, Queen of Swords. So, single pointed focus has their pros and cons. And I feel that's another caution to not get too narrow in terms of how your relationship with this person should go. And it's very much important that you listen to your instincts, as well as take a time to perceive what's been going on. Make sure you're paying attention to what perceptions you are getting of this person. Ask questions. Make sure you're clear about where this person stands. And so the solution, how we got here. Judgment. So my friend, Shiva Lim, I think it might be time to lean into your namesake. Lean into that namesake and be prepared to make some big decisions. If you really want this relationship to pan out, it's important that you are ready to step away from theory and jump into practice. And if you feel like you don't deserve, if there's some part of you that feels that you don't deserve love, first off, that's completely wrong. You absolutely do deserve love, number one. Number two, especially, you deserve love from somebody who especially would take a time to get to know you as you, just like you would get to know that person as them. So, yeah, I'm feeling like right now you just, now if you're gonna go for this person, don't get too self-obsessed. Get to the person as it is and find out what it is that's going on with this person. And if you find that it's not worth your time, it's okay. It's okay to move forward. Anyway, looks like Twitch is in ad jail right now, so we will wait a little bit. In the meantime, Sugar Plums, you are next. And wow, Tantalus Studios got a 10 stream streak. Wow. That's awesome. All good, bud. All good. It's a pretty light night tonight, so it's all good. But yeah, Sugar Plums, you are next. So I know you like your Discord messages, so please feel free to send me what it is you want me to pull on. Let me get my Discord open here. Okay, we will wait for you. In the meantime, while Sugar Plums is sending your question, thank you so much for tuning in. If you've been here up until this point, like we're just about to hit 2 hours. If you've been here up until this point between Lady Sia this afternoon and now, y'all are real ones. Thank you. And I'm surprised I did not pull anything from this deck at all today. And I just like, the moment Sugar Plums came up, I was like, oh my god, I literally did not pull from that deck. But I'm thinking like while Sugar Plums is typing up her question, if you still want to get a reading from me tonight, please feel free to add yourself to the queue. And I will let you know now that if you add yourself to the queue and then you end up having to walk out because, well, you have to like turn in early or something else, do not worry. We'll still get to you. There's two ways you can get a question answered from me. Either you put it in the chat before you leave, preferably that, and then I can answer it for you. You can just watch the video on demand for your answer. Or you can add it to the Discord and I can answer it for you right there. It might be off the air, but you could still get an answer from me. Third way you can do it is, well, which is one that so far we've had a few successful instances of this. We give you until the next Saturday to tune back in and get your answer question live. You'll be basically the first, like, you'll be pushed to the first in the queue if you happen to show up. So we have one person that tuned in, Mr. Weird, who came in last week, and they haven't tuned back in yet. So they basically have until whenever the stream ends to tune in and get your question asked. But yeah. So if I don't see him by the end of this stream, he gets taken off the queue. So that's our current system right now. Yeah, I'm feeling a general forecast deal until Sugar Plums answers. Oh, sends a question. So, take your time, Sugar Plums. Feel free to go as thorough as you want. Also, feel free in the comments or on Discord to share your updates. Like, what's been your experiences ever since the readings? What have you learned about yourself? What have been things that you witnessed or tried? What hasn't been true? Because I'm kind of curious, like, what hasn't been accurate about my readings? Because, like, even I don't know. I mean, ultimately, it's not a predictive medium for me, but I still kind of like to know, like, what do you guys get out of these? Because I get certain things. Okay. So, things you need to know for this full moon coming up tomorrow. I haven't touched these in a hot minute, so it's the Energy Oracle cards by Sandra Ann Taylor. I have a feeling it's time for me to pull these out. We got 5 here. And I'll pull a song like towards the end for you guys to listen to. So let's see. So first thing in order to like think about in terms of this full moon, it's pretty much matched up with the vibe that I've been getting with this moon is cornucopia. It's like a diversity of opportunity that I'm seeing here. Let me read this off. Cornucopia, wishes fulfilled. An abundant harvest and great blessings are waiting for you, and you may even find all of your wishes fulfilled. This cornucopia of gifts from the universe can come in the form of financial riches, job fulfillment, romantic love, or all of the above. When you receive the cornucopia, You know that you've done important work and it's about to pay off. The seeds you've planted in your energy and in your life are ready to be harvested in some significant ways. Get ready, for a great feast of abundant value is being prepared for you now, and Spirit is applauding all of your effort. So, basically from last year up until this point, you've done so much. And please don't discount this, because you have been doing a lot. 2025 was not an easy year for a lot of people. And you need to pat yourself on the back for everything that we've endured up until this point. And so, this full moon is not only a release point, but also a celebration point. So, whether it's sobriety, or a raise, or just getting up in the morning and taking a shower, celebrate those small wins. Next, we got storm warning, which, considering I'm in the East Coast right now and we're having warnings about snow coming in, pretty relevant, but I think it's more of a spiritual nature, so let's see what we got here. Storm warning, clouds in the horizon. This card indicates a potential difficulty either in the external world or within yourself in your emotional life. The difficulty is coming closer, and you may have already heard rumblings of potential problems around you. The caution here is to be cautious, yet not fearful. Consider what's going on and look at the situation with calm clarity. Investigate your options and honor yourself and your intentions. Stand up for yourself and take action on your own behalf. As with all difficulty, even the worst storm passes. Always remember you have the power and wisdom to handle whatever may come your way. And that's with any challenge. Like, if you know how to batten down the hatches and also assess how damaging a storm can be, that's important. Preparation is key. And also having a great self-awareness during these periods is also very important. So, and also it could be literal as well, because I mean, literally we're having a storm tomorrow here in my hometown, so let us hope we do not get stuck. Anyways, other three we got here. Angel of Strength. Very strong lion energy we've been having tonight. Which, I mean, considering it's Leo that we're having the moon in, it makes sense that lions would come up quite a bit. Angel of Strength, personal power, and inner strength. This amazing angel brings the news that this is a time of increasing power for you. It is not the time to be passive or submissive, but to speak your truth and take action on your own behalf. You are capable of taking greater control and directing your own directing your own destiny. For the power that comes from within reaches out to the universe and beyond. Inner strength and unlimited resourcefulness flow through you at this time, helping you to create the real results. Call upon this wonderful angel and on your own inner resourcefulness to bring you the focus and resolve to do what's necessary in order to make your dreams a reality. Pretty straightforward. Have faith in yourself. And especially with how bleak things seem, it's important to be very trusting in the vision that you have and whatever you want to do. We're almost done with this one. So next, we got the first chakra, guarded by Archangel Michael. And it's kind of funny that he came up, considering that I actually have like an Archangel Michael medal, as well as Saint Christopher. Anyway, stability and security. Michael holds a beautiful globe of red energy at the first chakra, which is located at the base of the spine. This is the place where your sense of stability and security is stored. When this card is upright, it reveals that your energy is flowing freely regarding these issues. Even if you had problems with feeling secure in the past, these challenges are beginning to be resolved at this time. Archangel Michael is with you, bringing you strength and personal stability. You are capable of taking action and moving forward on your path. So allow yourself to feel increasing faith in your own power and security now and always. And grounding is very important. The first chakra, especially the lower chakras, but especially the first one, it's very important to have. Because that's what keeps you rooted to being here as a human being and on the earth. Because when you have a good foundation, I mean, you remember the Tower card. The Tower is when the foundations are not exactly on a good ground. And so part of it is first chakra stuff. So remembering to ground yourself, to be here now, to borrow from Ram Dass. Grounding is very important during these precarious times, because then you have something to root down into and to look forward to. And so, yeah, taking time to ground, using some color red items, which is kind of interesting considering that the recent protest movement has been involving the color red. So pretty interesting. Touching grass, or in this case, since it's freezing, maybe taking care of your houseplants, taking care of your pets, having your bare feet on the ground, like in your house, or just anywhere nice. Maybe taking a bath, or doing a scrub with Epsom salts. Things that make you feel like you're here. Like you're safe and supported. That's very important at this time, especially of this period of great change. And finally, we got attachment. So, attachment. There we go. Perceived need and the choice to let go. In the upright position, this card reveals that your passage forward is being stopped by strong attachments to old patterns or people from the past. Chain at your wrist is bolted to fear from the past or desperation about the future. Although you may wear the mask of pretense or even contentment, you simply can't seem to go forward. Stuff that's keeping you stuck could be physical addictions, emotional patterns, or even old relationships. Are you living in fear, addicted to old unhealthy habits, or so desperate about the future that you can't be happy now? If so, the chains that bind you could be of your own making. This card is telling you that it's time to take the action you need to break out of your chains and move forward to be to have an open, free, healthy, and authentically happy life. It may take some courage and effort to let go, but know that you are capable of doing it. Until you do, difficult energy will just repeat itself, keeping you stuck. And I feel like continuing to the reverse side, actually, it's kind of funny. As you continue to let go, you will be able to establish new ways of doing things and relating to others. The universe wants to congratulate you on your healthy new approach, but be sure to support the changes that you're making in your ongoing choices. Some patterns can be deeply encoded, and you may need to continue releasing the old habits, all while honoring the new decisions in your thoughts, actions, and interactions with others. You've broken the chains, and now you can walk away from the limiting attachments into a bright and unlimited future. I don't know why with that one I felt like reading the reverse meaning as well, but I did. But yeah, if you have some things that have been holding you back, be it personal or worldly attachments, this is a time to start letting them go. Start releasing them. Drop away the pretense. And again, be honest with where you're at. And remember, you've got so much writing behind you with the archangels. Between the Angel of Courage and Archangel Michael. As well as, well, a cornucopia of opportunities. And you got the storm warning, so you got time to prepare for everything that's coming down. So, yeah. General forecast for today, for this full moon coming up, for you to keep in mind. And Sugar Plums has sent her questions. Let me see. Ooh. Oh wow. Okay. There was there was a guy that um there was a guy that you met, but not meant to be from what it looks like. So it made you realize films in your blood, and that's what gave you the first movie idea. So you had a dream about going into a cinema, waiting for tickets. So the question is, did the guy that you meet, the guy that you met, ever feel everything about you, and how your university stuff will go too? Okay. Okay, so to answer your question, how many breeds are you allowed per stream? I tend to go one per person. But I mean, it's been pretty chill tonight, honestly. So if you do have one more question, you could add it. But I would like to give like one last like opening for anybody else who didn't get a chance to ask or just wants to lurk. But I know there's some people who might be like a bit on the shyer side and want to ask questions, so. Yeah, that's an interesting situation. Oh. Okay, so Two of Cups came out. So I'm feeling there was something there with this person. Whether it was romantic or whether it was romantic or a friendship, I can't tell per se, but I feel like there was something there. Because there clearly was a connection. But yeah, to answer your question, yeah, I think you should be able to rejoin the queue. Because I don't think I took you out yet. Okay. I am feeling either embrace, accept, and let go, or idea, process, and aspiration. And saying that out loud, I'm feeling more idea, process, aspirations. Let me do that. Oh, I definitely need to do some yoga after this. My body's feeling it. Okay. Idea. Excuse me. Alright, some additional information there. Anything else? Okay. Alright. Let's do this. Alright. Idea, process, aspiration. So we did pull the Two of Cups. So I feel like there was something there between you and this person. I can't tell if it was romantic or not. Or a friendship, but there clearly was something there, from what I can tell anyway. Anyway, let's see what the rest of this says. So, idea. We got temperance. So, temperance. I love especially this deck's illustration of temperance. If you're kind of curious about what deck this is, it's the Shadowscapes Tarot by Stephanie Ploymoon Law. If you want to look it up yourself. She has a website that like shows all the illustrations. And she also does like journal illustrations as well. Like her imagery looks familiar. She does a lot of journals for Peter Popper Press. But yeah, the idea of temperance is that it's like a balance of extremes and harnessing forces through self-restraint and balancing of opposites. So I feel like it could be a possible theme for film. It could be a possible theme that you could work with in your film. Which is about like that balancing of opposites. Because I mean, there's always a story about opposites attract in narratives. So I'm thinking it's like a dynamic that you could play with in your story. And I think also that might be the thing that you might be navigating in university life, because you're always going to be comparing and contrasting not only with the theories that you're going to be presented in the classroom, but also your own perception and your own experiences of said theory. So I think it's something that you should keep in mind as you go, is how to balance all of these forces in not only academia, but also creativity. So next we got the process. Ooh, Page of Wands. Some of my favorite cards in this deck. Besides the Empress, of course. Love the violin. So the process is very much you diving into your passion and diving into developing your skills as an artist. And the biggest thing that you can do, which I think you're already doing based on what you've been messaging up until this point, is being more outspoken about what it is that you believe in and what your philosophy is. Make that as open as you want to. At this point, you don't even have to stick with the adage show don't tell. Express it how it needs to be expressed, and the message will speak for itself. That's what I'm saying with that. Like, the message always finds its way to express itself, no matter how obvious or how subtle you decide to make it. And in case of point, the recent Superman film. I mean, there's some stuff that, like, you cannot ignore with the way things were portrayed in that movie. And yet, simultaneously, there's a lot of messaging that, like, you really do think about even long after that movie's over. Like, I ended up watching it twice. I didn't even plan on that. Like, it came out during when I was doing my language immersion program, so I couldn't watch it in theaters. But whew, it's a movie that I still think about even now. Like, that movie. Especially, and I think especially, like, how Superman started and then how he ends in that movie. Like, the evolution that he goes through is so understandable. like I've surprisingly connected to that very deeply. Yeah, yeah. I say absolutely. You'll find a way. You'll find a way to say it in a really good way. I mean, I also think about Sinners as well. Which, by the way, if Ryan Coogler does not win Best Director, it's official. I might be jumping into the film industry at this point, in the indie film industry. Like, I might actually take a risk to it. Oh man, like that movie, I it's another one I can't stop thinking about. There's an article that I was supposed to put out last year about Sinners. I think this is the year I gotta do it. Wunmi is a gorgeous woman, okay? She is a gorgeous woman. And Michael B. Jordan, that is... the man's got skill. I think he played twins so effectively. And with a rig, no less. He'd better get that award. But yeah, I feel like dive deep into your passion and especially look into philosophies that you are curious about or want to explore. One author that I especially recommend, Ta-Nehisi Coates. Let me type him down. He actually wrote for the MCU a little bit. Specifically for Black Panther, as well as the comics. He wrote this book called Between the World and Me. That book really made me start to, like, turn things around in my personal philosophy. Highly recommend his stuff. And funnily enough, he also attended Middlebury, the same place I went to for my Japanese immersion, and my friend who did the Italian program, he attended there for French. Funnily enough. But yeah, I think he's basically like the James Baldwin of our generation. I mean, he practically is. I mean, the way that he talks about philosophy and how we navigate our present society, it really makes you think. Yeah, please do. That goes for everyone, by the way. Please check him out. Really good stuff. I also highly recommend. She's been making the rounds a lot more recently, thankfully. Audre Lorde. The way she talks about creativity. I didn't understand it at first, but then when I read it again after I graduated 3 years ago, I understood it so much better now compared to back then. Highly recommend her writing, especially when it comes to dismantling critique that doesn't actually apply to you. She, along with Toni Morrison, they're really good at explaining how to do that. Highly recommend these writers. Anyway, let me get to Aspiration, and they got 2 more up here. So Aspiration, we got The Chariot, and the Chariot is a really good card because it usually means victory to me, and I think especially with this version of the Chariot also has a crab in it, which I mean, considering that, like, it's right before Cancer, like right before Leo, and which is right before the Strength card. So because, like, Strength card is number 8 and it usually has a lion on front of it, and then the Chariot has the crab, makes it of Cancer, the zodiac sign. It's a very big thing. And aspiration is about triumph over obstacles. And I feel like this is like your ultimate vision that you've been talking about, is being able to tell the stories that have been left untold right now. Like if the stories that have been very important during this time, and focusing on putting the work towards expressing said stories and establishing your identity, not only as a student, but also as an artist. And coming into your power has those things. So I think that's a thing that you need to keep in mind as you go. Remembering to channel your passion and your power in your art, in your assignments, and also having faith that those tasks, those visions will see you through to the other side. Because I in particular think about Queen Herbie's call every time she does every time she does a podcast. We need your art. Doesn't matter if you're going through marketing, or you are just creating just because, or you're creating just for yourself. We need your art. We need your art. Whether you are just creating for yourself, or you are creating on behalf of someone who needs that art, even if it's just for like your past self, your present, your future, or even just never seeing the light of day, you're just doing it for yourself in your house. We need your art. We need your creations. So yeah, you've got a lot to channel, my friend. And you've got a lot of material. Let's see what else we got here. Let me double check my ad reel. Oh, incoming ad break at 3 minutes. Okay, let me snooze that real quick for 5 minutes. Okay. Anyways, couple cards here. I mentioned strength, and what do I pull here? Strength. So you got some the powers of Leo and Cancer on your side. So very much, yes, follow your heart and have courage that you will find a way to see that message through. And I feel like the thing you got to focus on during this period is tempering your energy, tempering your force. I'm feeling especially your emotional force is like what you need to like temper into the metal that is part of that critical component that is in your art. Or I just thought, even though it's a different kind of metal, it's putting the pedals to the metal. Put your focus on figuring out what would be the most effective expression that will help your audience get the message. Who you're writing this for. Big focus on that. And finally, final card here. Got the Lovers. Ooh. Now, again, to clarify, the Lovers often are misinterpreted in terms of romantic love, but it's not just that. It's also the relationship between the heart and the mind, passion, energy, a balance of forces. It seems like there's 3 cards that literally talk about balance of forces. We got the Lovers, we got the Two of Cups, we've got Temperance. All 3 of them talk about a balance and union of forces. So That seems to be the call for you to explore as you go to the university and navigate the situation with this person, is the harmonizing of forces. Now, I don't know why this came up in my head, but I have a feeling that he might come up again. I don't know why. I think there might be some misunderstanding going on. I don't know. Then again, I wasn't in the situation, so I don't know. I can be completely and utterly wrong about that. Might be worth asking some questions. Fair enough. Trust your instincts ultimately. But yeah, that's what I got for you, sugar plums. But yeah, it's like the theme that's really been coming up is balance of forces. So could be a theme for your films, or it could be something like a skill that you're acquiring. Most likely both. But balance of forces seems to be like the theme of the day here when it comes to this. So, best of luck this semester. Listen, a new thing like this can be scary because, I mean, it is changing your status quo exploring all of this. And understandable. But remember what I said a few moments, I don't know if you were here a few moments earlier, Sugar Plums, but I literally said something that I learned recently, which was a thing about discovery versus defensive mindset. And at least early education tends to deceive us into thinking that there's only one shot that you get. You only get one shot, do not miss a chance to blow. You know, I don't know why I said an Eminem lyric, but here we are. Anyway, it's deceiving. Like they often train us to think that we only have that one shot, which sometimes with privilege and resource access, sometimes you really do only have that one shot. But reality, the majority of the time in the real world, and more often in secondary education, you finally know this, you have infinite chances. You have infinite chances to get it right. And all you need is for something to go right at least once. So, or that infamous Wade Gretzky quote about like you miss the shots, 100% of the shots you don't take. In this case here, if anything, in some phases of when you get to a certain phase in your dream fulfillment, you gotta stop treating your dreams like fine china and trust that it has the resilience that it can withstand whatever trials it faces. And I know how terrifying it is because it's very precious, but at some point you're gonna have to put it through its paces and have faith that it will go through the other side. Yeah, just don't throw it against the wall. And even if it does break, there's a beautiful thing called kintsugi. Never heard of it. It's Japanese art of mending pieces with veins of gold. So even with that break, it has a gorgeous history. And this is why we're friends. And this is why you're my mod. But yeah, you got this. You got this, sugar plums. And if you need a spiritual consultant on set, I'm your girl. Y'all, this was so much fun. Thank you so much for everything that you ask. I'm gonna give one last call for anybody who wants an individual reading. Okay, my mod wants a reading. Let's do it. Yeah, that kind of fear. It's like, I forgot who said that, what this person said, but like, excitement and fear feel like the same thing sometimes. So, you just need to shift the perspective a little bit. Agile, shoot. Did not pay attention. Agile! Okay. Meantime, I'm gonna shuffle this. Or, actually, that was quick, because it said like 3 minutes on the thing. Shoot, I just forgot what I was saying. When that gel popped up. Oh, you're welcome. Of course. Oh yeah, I was saying about fear and excitement. That's it. They feel very similar in energies. And all you need to do is just like shift the energy from like, I'm terrified of what the heck's gonna happen, to like, I get to actually try this and share what I care about and learn all these new things, because that's ultimately what it is. Ultimately, it's a learning experience. You get to explore things that, I mean, they might have been talked about for centuries, millennia even, and yet not in the way you do it. Everybody has a unique perspective to share. You got your perspective that you are about to figure out how to share yourself. So, yeah, you got this. You got this, sugar plums. Let me know how it goes. Anytime, sugar plums. Have a great day. It's totally understandable, Momo. This is kind of like, this is like my mode of reality television. Yeah, those days. Those days when you want to lock in, and then it's like so much is going on. All right, Hyun. My dear Mud. You're our next, my friend. What's your question? I mean, you did kind of tell me like earlier today, but I kind of want to be, yeah, no. I want to get a refresher. Okay, Discord. Got you. Thank you. Okay. Yes. Okay. So, yes, I remember now. It was a 3. I was thinking that I could do this with 3 cards. And I can add some more when necessary. So, number 1. What does little Hyun need? Can I give it to second one? Can I give it to her? And number 3. What do I need to let go of the lie I'm not worthy? Got it. So I'm feeling like 3 cards could do it, but I don't know where to pop up. We'll see. Whew! Excuse me. Sorry for being rude. My hands were kind of full. I could just use my elbows, like. Yeah, a little bit. Okay. Okay. Oh. Any advice you can give me for question number 1? Okay. Advice for question number 2? And question number 3. Oh. Okay. Ugh. Well, got a jumper here. Got the sun. And I think that's kind of the theme for this evening, really. Which is the importance of enlightenment and understanding, which is what we're looking for here in this spread. And renewal of life and assurance, which is the overarching theme of these questions that you're asking me. It's like, how do you reestablish that sense of trust and letting go of the things that no longer serve you? All right. So, to answer your first question, what does your inner child need? We got the 6 of Wands and the 10 of Swords. So, the 6 of Wands. 6 of Wands is another victory card, albeit in a very different thing, a very different energy. Because the 6 of Wands, it is about triumph and victory, but also, I feel like in this case, it's also representing the concern about getting too self-indulgent and fear of like getting stuck in hubris. So, in other words, having a balance. And then the 10 of Swords. Yeah, I know. It tends to be a pretty harsh card. But simultaneously, I'm feeling like what your inner child needs is a deep sense of honesty and especially not being so harsh. I feel like it's a call for honesty, but also in a way a bit of a break from Tasman in particular. Like, I'm seeing it like outside the traditional thing, the traditional meaning. I feel like it's like you're calling for, like, your inner child's calling for a break from these expectations of who you should be. Fairy tale executive focuses on betrayal, and I feel like it's calling for an end to self-betrayal in particular. That's what I'm getting from this. And yet also, simultaneously, is like a fear of, like, self-betrayal. The Six of Wands. We're getting too indulgent. But yeah, there's a lot of fear, clearly. About whether or not you'll get the truth and the victory that you're seeking. So, second question, can I give it to her? We got 2 cards here. We got the Three of Cups and the Page of Cups. Well, I could have answered this even before I pulled these cards up. You absolutely can. And yeah, I think you absolutely can give this to her. Like, the truth and the hard-won victories that you've been thirsting for. First off, the biggest thing that you can do for yourself and your inner child is to tap into your romantic nature. Tap into your romantic side and pay attention to your intuition and your understanding. It's much quieter than it sounds. So be very open as to what could that look like, and be very gentle. And secondly, it's important that you tune into your community. Friendship is very important to your younger self. And so it's important that you make sure you get back in touch with the people that you really care about and cultivate some team spirit. Like, have reminders that you're not alone in this journey. And remember to have fun and to celebrate. Because our inner child suffers when we take things too seriously. Because, I mean, even the divine has a sense of humor, albeit a very odd one. So yeah. Yeah, the 2 things that you could definitely give your inner child at this point to make it easier to come towards the truth and reduce this sense of betrayal is remembering who's in your corner and what your inner voice, what your inner selfhood, your self-expression is meant to. Not always. I don't think it always involves suffering. I know, it's a little weird. I mean, okay, there's a lot of suffering involved. I mean, even comedy in its nature involves some form of suffering involved. But also, it's a discharge from trying to make sure it doesn't turn into pain. I don't know if I'm making any sense. I feel like I'm speaking fortune cookie. Again, it's kind of getting into that hour. But finally, for this final card that I have here for the spread, what do you need to let go of the lie of I'm not worthy? Start believing in something else. Got the 5 of Swords here. So I'm feeling like in order to cut away at this belief, to excise it, the thing that you need to the things that you need to the thing that you need to pay attention to is where your conflict of interest lies. Like, what I think the thing you need to pay attention to is like what are you protecting that made you believe that lie of unworthiness in the first place? Like what is it that that lie is protecting? Because usually, like, not usually, but like a lot of the time, certain beliefs come up when you're trying to protect something that has been hurt in the past. I have one example from my own life, where I've been learning Japanese for a few years now, and I admit some aspects of the etiquette did make me feel a bit guilty and almost apologetic for my existence, so to speak. Like some of the terminology almost feels like an apology for existence if the context is not thought of thoroughly. Like, a lot of the phrases, like the politeness phrases that you tend to come into with Japanese sometimes, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong or if I'm being too uncouth, but a lot of them are some sort of way of saying, I'm sorry for being an intrusion. Like, they always translate as some variation of that. Whether it's, sorry for coming in, I'm sorry for intruding in this space, I'm sorry for intruding in on your time. It's like the screaming of, like, I'm sorry for I'm sorry for even existing. In other words, like, it just feels like this kind of that sense in some of these politeness terms. And I really had to grapple with that for a little bit. And I kind of realized that my discomfort at some of the politeness terms it felt like it really was covering up this deep sense of fear of being disrespectful or appropriative or just screwing up so badly that I would be like forever hated for what I represent. To put it very simply. Oh, hi Shiva Lim. I actually read for you. You're gonna have to scroll back a little bit, but I did pull cards for you. Yeah, I pulled some cards for you, so you're gonna have to roll back a little bit. The long story short, to get back to my mod's question here. I think the Five of Swords popped up in terms of how to excise this belief. I'm feeling like the real question about worthiness is not necessarily like, how do I get rid of this feeling? It's more so paying attention to what the feeling represents. Like, what is going to help you remind you that you are inherently worthy of this thing? what are the concerns that you hold within yourself with this belief being here? Let me see what else I can pull up with this one for you. Give me 1 second. It brings a question, like the Five of Swords, and like the Suit of Swords in general. It begs the question: victory at what cost? And I feel like in this case, it's also calling you to pay attention to where you've been betrayed by others and possibly where you might have perpetuated some self-betrayal. Because if you pay attention to how that affected you, then you can use the gentleness of the Page and Three of Cups respectively to start mending that self-betrayal. The effects of it. And more importantly, that mending, that healing, that mending and healing of that worthiness does not have to be in competition or in cutthroat circumstances. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. Oh, you know, I just realized something with the first one, with the Ten of Swords in particular. You know, another thing that Ten of Swords tends to represent besides betrayal? Surrender. And what have you been talking about this whole stream? The 3 things: trust, humility, surrender. Okay, let's pull up the dictionary definition of surrender, because I think we need a little bit of history here. Cease resistance to an enemy or opponent and submit to their authority. Or to abandon oneself entirely to or give into an emotion or influence. To yield to the power, control, or possession of another upon compulsion or demand. Or to give it completely or agree to forego, especially in favor of another. Surrender does not mean giving up. Well, it can mean yielding, like in defeat in war. In personal growth and spirituality, surrender means releasing struggle and control by accepting reality, letting go of expectations, and trusting in a higher power or inner guidance rather than quitting. Surrender is an active, courageous choice to stop fighting what you can't change and find peace or new energy to move forward. Yeah, exactly. And I think that's why the Ten of Swords popped up in the first card, in the first portion, about your inner child, what does she need? And clearly what she needs is a break. She needs some praise, some celebration of who she is, and also a break. And interestingly enough, the things that you can do to contribute to that sense of victory and a break, the funniest thing, it's all water element. It's all about flow. And here's another funny thing. Here's the other interesting thing. With this article that I came across here, there's a question of why is surrender powerful? Surrender is powerful because it shifts focus from the exhausting struggle to control everything to aligning with life's flow, creating peace, clarity, and freedom by letting go of rigid outcomes, allowing for adaptation, and releasing the illusion of personal power to find deeper strength, purpose, and connection with something greater. It's not weakness, but a wise release of the need to force things, opening space for growth and authentic living, knowing that true power comes from within, not from external control. It's not passivity, and it's not weakness. So, yeah. What I'm feeling is absolutely what you need right now is what you need, and what your inner child needs is support of a community and support of the characteristics that made your inner child your inner child. And embrace those characteristics fully. But yeah, one thing's for sure. I'm feeling like the biggest thing that you can do for yourself at this point is defining what would worthiness be for you, and more importantly, how far are you willing to go for it? Because again, the question comes back to, at what cost would you want to go for this worthiness? Because it is possible to go too far with searching for that. And it's also important to remember that much like the sun's brilliance, because I mean, we're both Leos, so we can understand this, our brilliance comes from within. The temperature may vary from day to day. There are clouds, the wind chill, the season. But the thing we always know is the sun always rises and sets. Unless you're in the poles. In that case, then you might take a while. But point is, yeah, I know Leos have the arrogance reputation, but what people mistake for arrogance is actually our brilliance. And I think it's time that you finally embrace that side. You need to. Because that's what's been keeping that spark alive. It's how you light up that spotlight. Hmm? And that's how you ignite that inner worthiness. I know it's a lot. I know it's a lot. But yeah, it gets, like, believe it or not, it gets mistaken as haughtiness or arrogance in a lot of astrology circles, believe it or not. So what they may interpret as that, it's your power. And confidence does not have to be that chest puffed up, head held high kind of confidence. Your confidence can also be subtle. And that's fine too. Yeah. And they even knock that as arrogance. It's ridiculous. But yeah, self-assurance. Self-assurance is very important, especially now. With all this chaos. That's very important. Yeah, I hope it answered your question. I know it's a lot that I pulled out. I mean, it took like what I thought would take 3 cards, ended up taking double. But yeah, the moment I saw the sun, I was like, whoop, yep, we are really looking at our And I know, as frustrating as it is, you're not gonna be able to get them all from the deck. As no matter how much we would love to, some of it you're gonna have to play around. It be like that sometimes. But if we just told you, or if it's just like, if it was just told to you, how receptive would you be of the answer if it was just told to you? Sometimes it's like, don't tell me what to do, let me figure it out. Let me have some confidence to figure it out myself. I mean, pretty much. I mean, we're curious creatures. We're going to be asking questions all the time. Oh. But yeah, it's getting to that hour. I think I'm gonna pull, I got a couple of songs by Queen Herbie here that I'm gonna recommend y'all listen to whenever you get a chance. And by the way, she is she is going on tour. So if you happen to be in the United States, she is she is going on tour. So if you want to see if you want to see if you want to see her live, do it. I think it's worth it. She's coming over to my area, so I'm totally excited. And it's gonna be after I get back from Japan too, so oh my gosh. You're live. Yeah, basically, yeah, it's not fun to be Dr. Manhattan. Don't be like him. Especially the movie version. Oh my god. Yeah, not gonna lie. If you became like Dr. Manhattan, it would kind of be very boring. Let's be for real. Very boring. Very fast. But anyway, here's a couple of songs that I can recommend. Let me see if I know them or not. I doubt it, but let's see. So, first song I got for you from Queen Herbie is Mood of the Century by My Energy's Immaculate. So, I'm gonna have to mute the audio capture for a second because unfortunately my phone just died. I did not bring my charger up here, all the way downstairs. So I'm gonna have to mute this for a moment, so that way Twitch does not mute my mute my stream, and I can actually. Let me just listen to what the song is. Oh, okay. The song's from one of my favorite albums, Gorgeous. Okay, so I'm gonna mute this real quick. Let's see. Through the century. Okay, so to my mod, Hyun, this is so Hyun, definitely listen to this song. I think this will answer your question. This one, at least it'll give you the start. Definitely. And bruh, now I want to rewatch Watchmen just because. Both the TV series and the film. Because yeah, that's basically Dr. Manhattan in a nutshell, essentially, from that movie. Yeah, comic is good but very dark. Okay, I'm gonna write it down. Don't worry, I'll put it in the chat. So the song's called "Move the Century," and I forgot that I had heard this song before. But yeah, this is very much about rebuilding your self-esteem and your confidence, and it's like it's time to like cut away all the bad vibes and focus on what it is that you really vibe with. That's what I'm doing with this one. And the second song is called Bruh. I remember this song. Black Sheep. God, it's been a few weeks since I've heard this one. Okay, give me one moment. Thank you for tolerating the silence. Okay, and it's from a woman. Let's see. Yeah, okay, clearly these songs are for you, Hyun. Like, these two in particular, they're for you. You gotta listen to these two. Okay, gonna type them down now. because this first song is about reestablishing your self-esteem and confidence. And then this one, Black Sheep, it's a mother-daughter connection song. Like, you listen to the lyrics more closely. Holy smokes. But in particular, how the daughter, which is Queen Herbie, is expressing herself fully. Because I mean, this song came out around, this was like one of the first albums that she released not long after the EPs came out. And it was a very dramatic change from how she started. Like, she went from church girl to Berklee School of Music grad to going viral for Busta Rhymes to this witchy artist we know and love today. Very, very different vibe from where she started. And this is very much a, this is who I am, take it or leave it kind of song. But yeah. Yeah, this is clearly for my mod. Like, these two songs right here. Oh my god. When I listened to them, I was like, wait a second. So, yeah. I think the answers are going to be in these two songs in particular. So, this will be your start. This is your homework. Listen to these two. And I guess for my audience, let me pull out one for you guys. A little bit of a full moon homework here. And then I think I'm going to end the stream. We've been at this for 3 hours. I found this one. Okay, let's see what we got. Dang! I forgot to name. Oh man, yeah, that means like, yeah, because it would be tomorrow for me and it's already today for you. Wowee. Yeah, bruh, the cards don't lie. I'm sorry. But yeah, give those two songs a listen. And in terms of my regular audience here, in terms of the community, in terms of the collective, your recommendation is Balenciaga Dreams. I don't think I heard this one, so let me drop down my volume real quick. Let me drop down my volume real quick. Yep, tapping it down. Let me just get the vibe of the song first. Okay, it's from the same album as Black Sheep, called A Woman, in case you're wondering. Okay. Okay. So I'm thinking, okay, so I'm feeling with this song, Balenciaga Dreams. I'm feeling like in order to achieve what you want, like especially like the more fantastical things, like in this case, this song kind of talks about very almost stereotypically obscene wealth. it's very much like, I mean, at first it looks like you gotta see it to believe it, but more so, instead, it's it's more so you gotta believe it until you see it. Because you can't claim the birthright that is your dream until you have faith that that's what it is that you want. Yeah, basically your delusional delusional era. Yeah, basically the Delulu era. Embrace it and indulge in the feeling of that dream so hard you can't help but make it real. Okay, so that's the song recommendation. And I mean, she literally, like, I mean, like, the funniest thing is she has the vinyl version of, like, the vinyl record version of this album called A Woman. And the funniest thing is the color is, it's of a prescription, it's a prescription bottle color. And then you can literally see Queen Herbie prescription on it, on the label. Because her songs are literal medicine. Literal auditory medicine. It's like, you know the joke that like Overwatch players tend to have about Lucio, where like they're all like, I play his regenerate, like he's his rejuvenencia song in the hospital, songs in the hospital. Like those memes. That's Queen Herbie. But yeah, Balenciaga Dreams. Give that a listen to my beautiful collective. And embrace your Delulu era this full moon. Anyways, that is it for me today. Thank you so much for joining in. If you happen to be here, like, through both my latest Sia stream earlier today and right now, y'all are real ones. Thank you. Not the Lululemon. Anyway, so next streams are going to be happening starting on Wednesday, but it might start sooner. You never know. But I want to play more Jak and Daxter, the Precursor Legacy, as well as Destiny 1. And I'm also planning on continuing the Fatal Frame playthrough because Fatal Frame 2 Remake is coming out in March. So I might as well play the first game and maybe like the original, the second one, just to get prepared for that. And maybe it'll also motivate Koei Tenko to actually remaster that one as well, because I feel like it deserves a remake. But yeah, the nice thing is I think the demo is coming out for that one pretty soon, and the nice thing about Team Ninja's games is that they honor the save files of the demo in the real game the moment it releases. So that's the nice thing about their games, and I wish like more companies could kind of embrace a little bit. But anyways, feel free to help entertainment workers get through 2026 and just get involved in your community, period. This is my way of doing it, so I hope y'all feel encouraged to try it out on your own. Feel free to contribute to these things, World Central Kitchen and Red Cross, as well as the charity of the season, which we're about to switch pretty soon, because tomorrow as well is also Imolek, honoring the spirit of the Celtic goddess / Saint Brigid. But yeah, Sad Girls Club provides free and affordable mental health services to women, femmes, and enemies of color. sadgirlsclub.com if you want to find out more about it. Unfortunately, they did have to cut short some of their services a little bit earlier than usual because they are going through some extensive budget cuts. But if you could spread the word about this organization, or maybe even donate just a little bit, perhaps they can get back up and running sooner than expected. Fingers crossed. Anyway, here's where you can find me outside of this channel. I always back up my tarot streams. Originally, it became like a Twitch exclusive, but because the full moons and the new moons are hitting on the weekends nowadays, it looks like I've been simulcasting them a lot more on YouTube, so I hope the YouTube crowd enjoys it. I know it's a little different from what I usually do, but I hope you like it. And thanks for the suggestions from the Theological Otaku channel, the second channel that I have on this thing. So there's a lot of stuff that I've been working on behind the scenes. Besides that, I also have a Substack, thirdnerd.substack.com, which I get to put the first article of the year, which I might put it up tonight, might put it up tomorrow. We'll see. But new article coming right up. And I also, if you want to do more one-on-one stuff, a bit more thorough, please check me out on my coffee page, coffee.com/Tonders, or on Spiritual Blossom, where if you want to go more short and sweet, the page, I go by Wayne Starshiner on there. Finally, this episode was filmed in the lands of the Nanticoke and Lenape peoples. To learn more about whose indigenous lands you are occupying, and maybe if you want to contribute to the project, visit native-land.ca. Well, it's Koei. Temco is now part of Koei now, so and they literally did say in the advertisements that whatever save files you put in the demo, they will honor it in the actual game release. So, and it's also Team Ninja on top of it. So, and that's what I wish like more companies would do, is like they actually honor the demos a lot more. Well, this is not Konami. Like Konami is where you'd be like, I doubt it. But anyway, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Hope you all have an awesome weekend. And remember, you have the power to shape your lives and your destinies within and beyond what these mediums are. Because all it is, like, these are messengers. These are messengers. They are reminders that you have so much power and so much good ahead of you. Okay? And most importantly, as always, may your heart be your guiding key. And for those who are on the Twitch side, I will find someone to raid. Let me see. Let me see who is on today. Oh, Arvin Eleron is on tonight. So I'm gonna send you over to him, my amazing writer / gaming friend. And in terms of YouTube, yeah, this is the end of the line here. So, till next time, I will see you in the next stream. Bye, everybody. Have a great weekend.